The first scream doesn't sound human. It cuts through the night like metal on bone, echoing across the city that still thinks it's alive. You wake to that sound. You will never forget it. Subscribe to Think What If for more stories that push your imagination to the edge. The lights outside flicker. Sirens rise. Windows slam shut. You think it's another riot, another breakdown in a world already trembling. But then there's silence, terrible, thick silence, and you hear the shuffling. Slow, uneven, wet. Something moves through the street, dragging what's left of itself. You realize the world didn't end with a bang. It ended in whispers and coughing fits. You have 72 hours to live, or to survive. The clock starts now. Imagine the virus that started it. Not fantasy, but science. A hybrid between rabies and a mutated prion protein. Real pathogens that already exist, capable of hijacking the brain, erasing empathy, sharpening aggression. Scientists in labs once experimented with rabies lyssavirus, altering its incubation period. Others studied Toxoplasma gondii, the parasite that rewires animal behavior. None of them expected nature to take notes, but it did. It always does. And somewhere, maybe in a research freezer or a black market lab, the first mistake was made. You grab your bag. Adrenaline wipes away hesitation. You think of food, but don't. In the first 72 hours, food doesn't matter. Water does. Without water, the body begins to shut down within 3 days. You need 1 gallon per person per day. But where will you find clean water when the pipes dry or the taps bleed rust? Listen for the drip of gutter downspouts after the rain. Crack open the tank on the back of toilets and clean water hides there. Use sealed bottles only if they haven't been opened. Every swallow counts. Outside, glass breaks. A car alarm wails, then dies. You need shelter somewhere defensible but quiet. Never stay near hospitals or police stations. That's where the infected go first. Choose height. Second floors or rooftops with escape routes. Avoid basements. They trap sound and death. Seal doors with furniture. Curtains down. Silence everything that hums or glows. The sound of a generator could become your own obituary. In the dark, you need light. But light attracts. So use it like a weapon. A hand-cranked flashlight, a LED strip on its lowest setting, or glow sticks you can snap once, use briefly, then cover. Protect your night vision. Every spark is a decision. Every shadow moves differently now. The world is alive in the wrong way. Your hands shake, that's normal. Fear is a tool if you use it right. You check your first aid kit. Nothing in it feels enough. But survival often depends on small things. Antiseptic wipes, a roll of gauze, bandages, painkillers, antihistamines, and a compact tourniquet. Infections will kill you faster than a bite if you're careless. Human mouths carry bacteria more lethal than most weapons. If bitten, amputate quickly or accept the end. The question gnaws at you. How much of you would you cut away to stay alive? It's strange how quiet the world becomes after the collapse. No traffic, no chatter, just wind and distant moans. Civilization was loud, extinction whispers. You remember reading about brain inflammation caused by the Nipah virus, how it spread from bats to humans through fruit. You remember lab studies on weaponized forms of Marburg and Ebola, the ones that liquefy organs. You used to think those were fiction. Now the acronym on the emergency broadcast screen looks too familiar. HZV4, Hybrid Zoonotic Vector. The letters pulse on the screen like a countdown. You find a bat, a crowbar, anything with reach. Never choose something you have to reload. Blades dull, bullets run out. But blunt force keeps giving. Aim for the base of the skull, not the face. The face lies. The body follows physics, even when the mind is gone. Every hit must count. Each one will echo in your sleep. You wonder if the person you hit had a name. Hours pass. The sun burns through smoke like an old bulb dying. Your throat aches from dryness. You spot a stream, murky but moving. You know better than to drink it raw. You boil, you filter, you wait. 30 minutes feels like years when you're thirsty. Time stretches in crisis. Seconds weigh more than hours. You listen to the water hiss as it purifies and think, what if this is all life ever becomes? Waiting for something safe that never arrives. The dead don't hunt during the day as much. The heat slows them. But decomposition carries another threat: bacteria, airborne spores, the unseen swarm. Cover your mouth. Wet your scarf with water to trap dust. It helps, barely. Real pathogens can travel far, mutate faster, and survive longer. Scientists once warned that permafrost could release ancient viruses. You wonder if the outbreak began that way, something prehistoric, thawed, and curious. Night again. You realize fatigue makes you reckless. You ration movement. You conserve breath. Survival isn't about strength, it's about discipline. About doing nothing when everything in you screams to fight or flee. You hear a child crying 2 streets away. Or maybe it's not a child. You hold still. You tell yourself, don't move. That phrase will save or kill you, depending on when you listen to it. You find an abandoned pharmacy. The door hangs open like a wound. Inside, the air smells of bleach and rot. Shelves are looted. Glass crunches underfoot. You spot antibiotics left behind. Clindamycin, maybe expired, but still worth the risk. The body adapts. You stuff them into your bag, gripping tighter when a sound rises from behind the counter. Breathing, low and wet. You back away, slow, deliberate. You nearly trip on a fallen sign that says, "Do not enter, contaminated." The world was always contaminated. We just covered the smell. Climbing through back alleys, you find yourself staring at graffiti scrawled in blood. 3 words, "We are still here." Are they? Or were they? The thought hits harder than fear. Humanity doesn't vanish all at once. It decays piece by piece, in decisions made out of panic, in mistakes made by people just trying to last the night. You whisper the same phrase to yourself, a small defiance. We are still here. The motif repeats. It will again. You build a small barricade in what used to be a diner. Booths flipped, doors wedged shut. The smell of syrup still lingers, mixed with mold and gasoline. You find a lighter. You almost cry from the relief of a single controlled flame. You warm your hands, hear the faint static of a radio cutting through the quiet. Someone's transmitting coordinates, or maybe it's just looping code. 42.6, 88.1, help. You write it on your arm, ink from a broken pen. Morning, 3rd day. The city is changing. Smoke columns mark where resistance failed. You move toward the outskirts, where suburbs still breathe. There's movement on rooftops, humans signaling with mirrors. You wave once, cautious. They signal back. For the first time, you feel something other than terror. But hope is fragile. You keep your distance. How do you know they're not infected, just slower to change? How long until hope itself becomes a contagion? You stop at the sound of humming. Solar batteries feeding into a lamp inside a half-collapsed garage. Light without noise. A sign of thinking, planning, surviving. You creep closer. Inside, supplies line the wall. Water jugs, canned beans, fuel tablets, medical gear, a map showing safe zones marked in red. Someone built this. Someone knew. You study the markings and realize most safe zones are near small hydro plants, inland lakes, or farms. Water again. Always water. It's the first rule and the last. Your reflection stares back from a window pane. Dirt hides your face. Your eyes look older. Survival costs years in days. The mind begins to warp. You speak aloud just to hear a voice, any voice. Who are you without anyone watching? Who are you when order is gone? In experiments with isolation, even trained soldiers break within 48 hours. You've doubled that. You're still here. A scream breaks your thoughts. Not human this time. Sharper, faster. Evolution always finds a way. The infected adapt. Maybe the pathogen hijacked motor neurons. Maybe it learned to coordinate. You see movement in the distance, too many at once. You run, past cars, past bodies, past the ghosts of your old world. The air stinks of ozone and oil. You trip, catch yourself on the edge of a concrete wall, skin tearing. You don't stop. Pain means you're still human. The run feels endless. Then, a sound of clean water pouring from a broken irrigation pipe. You drop to your knees, fill your bottle, pray the earth is filtered enough. It tastes like life and metal. You breathe hard, trembling. You think of how fragile the line is between civilization and chaos. One mutation, one oversight, one selfish act. Somewhere, maybe deep in a bunker, scientists are still searching for a cure. Or maybe they started this. What would you believe if it helped you sleep? The next night stretches longer than the last. You barricade yourself in a maintenance shed. Rain drums on the roof. You count each beat like heartbeats, like minutes left. You whisper again, "We are still here." You hear it echoed faintly, as if the wind repeats it back. Maybe it's not the wind. Maybe someone out there heard you. By the 71st hour, exhaustion feels like drowning. The world fades around you. You think of your family, of crowded subways, of laughter before the sirens. You remember the future you once imagined. Then, in the distance, movement. A convoy. Lights under canvas. Military or scavengers, you can't tell. You have a choice now. Stay hidden, safe for one more night, or step out and risk everything for the chance that humanity still fights. What would you do now? You rise. You grip your weapon tighter, a water bottle clutched against your chest. The rain stops. The air hums with silence again. You step toward the unknown, because staying still is a slower death. Survival begins with motion, with one step forward even when you can't see what waits. You whisper once more into the empty sky. We are still here. And for now, that is enough. Subscribe to Think What If for more worlds you should never forget.